The great debate on Wall Street this year is, are we heading into a recession? One thing that's always fascinated me is how individual commodity prices can often be an indicator as it relates to what's going on in the broader economy. Today we're talking about diesel prices specifically to gauge what's happening in the macroeconomy. Stick around. There was a great article in the Wall Street Journal this week talking about how diesel prices were sending a warning with respect to the U.S. economy. And you think about this, why do diesel prices matter? Well, when you think about much of the global economy, most goods are moved around with diesel fuel. That is ultimately the power source. If you think about anything moving around on a semi-truck or a big cargo ship, it's being powered by diesel fuel. And obviously, therefore, if prices are on the decline, it's a suggestion that demand for that fuel is weakening. And of course, what would cause demand for diesel fuel to decline? Well, obviously, if consumers are pulling back and not buying as much stuff, shipping companies aren't moving as much around. So I wanted to see this data for myself, so I pulled up the chart going back to the 90s here, and I just thought this would be interesting for you, for the audience, to check this out. The correlation between recessionary periods, which you can see in these gray shaded areas, and what was going on with fuel prices at that time. We're looking at both diesel fuel and gasoline, and you can see here in the early 2000s, obviously we had a recession, prices were on the decline, economy picked up, so too did fuel prices. And then of course we had the Great Recession, 2008, and look at the magnitude of the change in prices. The economy recovered. Interestingly, this period right here, we did not have a recession. There was some economic certainty around that time, but what really drove fuel prices down in that 2015-2016 era was the fracking boom. Many of you may remember that. But going out here, of course, we had the pandemic hit. Prices really tanked, and of course here we are most recently. We had the outbreak of war in Ukraine, sanctions slapped on Russia, which is one of the biggest oil producers in the world. That resulted in spiking prices, a lot of concern. But this Wall Street Journal article was talking about how prices have been just rapidly falling, and shipping companies are reporting that demand is declining. In fact, one of the CEOs referenced in this article specifically said, we are in a freight recession right now. So is a recession imminent? Well, I don't know. You tell me what you're seeing out there. Diesel prices certainly look bearish, but the picture is so mixed. We had earnings reports from some of the big tech companies this week, including Microsoft and Amazon, and profits there were actually quite strong. Another company that I follow closely, it's locally based here, Graco. They have worldwide operations, and they had record profits, record revenue and profits in the first quarter. So it's really tough to see. It's really tough to say, and that's why there's so much debate on Wall Street. But hey, let me know what you're seeing out there. That's one of the questions I always like to ask when I'm meeting with people regularly. What are you seeing in your business? Because everybody has their own experience and kind of their own take. I hope this one was interesting, and we'll see you in the next one.